Okay, welcome back to the E-Managerial website. I am Professor San. Today I wish to share with you what is a common network security risk and control. So if you are working on the network management area, so you need to understand what is a common risk and control. So I define in the 31 area uh, that I normally assess the network management area. So I come up with the 31 common risk and control activity to ensure that you can understand what is a control mechanism to mitigate the risk in terms of the network management activity. So this is the area that the organization or IT security or IT auditor or risk assessor or IT assurance or IT compliance, also IT governance, also look into detail what is the threat modeling come from the network segmentation or network management activity that performed by IT engineer or IT operator. So today I wish to share with you what is the key concern of the network security management component that most of the IT operator may not understand in detail what is a risk come from or things can go wrong during the network implementation. So when I talking about the risk and control, we need to understand what is a chance that fraudster or malicious hacker can compromise into the network system, and we need to understand what is a control mechanism to mitigate the risk involved with the network security management activity. So number one is a failure to perform the vendor risk assessment. For sure, this is involvement with the external threat that you have the agreement or term and condition when vendor on-site support or also on the outside support. We are remote access or on-site installation or maintenance, whether the vendor engineering access to the core network layer or the system that involved with the activity performance. So the risk for this particular area to impact the IT project or interrupt the business operation. So the control to mitigate this area to carry out or to conduct the vendor risk assessment regularly. At least you need to perform a yearly basis up on the area of concern, up on the critical project that you is ongoing to monitor whether the authorized vendor engineering perform the critical network system up on the service level agreement or operational level agreement, and also involved with the non-disclosure agreement is the vendor touch the sensitive data of the organization. So this is the control activity that you need to conduct the vendor reassessment to measure what is a service delivery, to measure what is a cost effectiveness, to measure what is a capacity building from the vendor, check whether the structure from the vendor are fully redundancy or fully scale can support our service in case of any crisis incur during the business operation. So this area you need to conduct the vendor risk assessment to mitigate the risk that involved with the performance by the vendor. So the next is weakness on network remote access control. This is the most common lapses on the remote access component. So the risk can involve with the infrastructure intrusion or impact to the business operation. So the control, we need to harden the remote access control. For example, you need to centralize the AA appliance or Active Directory right management service or VPN client access, or involved with the setup control environment of the AAA appliance, or involved with the group policy privilege management, or involved with the scheduling on the conducting the pen test or apply the firewall rule. This is just a command control that can mitigate the weakness on the network remote access control. So the number three is unauthorized access into the network infrastructure. So the risk can be intruder attack and interrupt to the business operation. So the control to mitigate this particular concern, we need to apply the AAA appliance, authentication, authorization, and accounting must be in place and hardened on the firewall rule, whatever that we need to comply with the standard firewall rule, and also monitor the access log that comply with the AAA appliance, also the review firewall rule as a regular basis, and also conduct the pen test in case of need. So the next is insufficient control on wireless access. So this is involvement on the control activity over the access to the network involved with the wireless activity. So the risk can be the packet sniffing or spoofing, IP spoofing or network system intrusion or impact to the business operation. So the control activity you need to apply the WEP or WPA or involved with the standard encryption methodology or latest encryption methodology should be in place, or you need to hide SSID, or you need to apply the WPA2, the latest encryption methodology on the wireless access. So when you conduct this area, you need to apply the hotspot user authentication and involve with the restriction on the packet transmission from the source to destination to ensure all the packet transmission are fully encrypted and protected. So the number five is an improper backup and testing plan on a network security device. This is involvement with the backup and restoration procedure. Ensure that you control the network security device or change management or rule configuration on a network device. So the risk can potential loss to the business or interrupt the business, also involved with the financial loss in case of the network downtime. So the control activity, you need to come up with a clear procedure to performing the backup and test plan with the proper scheduling and authorized activity uh, to perform the network testing and performing the backup as a regular basis. So you need to have the schedule and monitoring on the job backup activity and verify by the supervisor in case of the performance is higher. So the line manager need to verify as a maker role or checker role or authorizer role to ensure the transaction is a completeness and accuracy. So the number six is absence of network sniffing monitoring control. So the risk can be data linkage, private information, user ID and password are captured by sniffer or malicious user or malicious hacker or interrupting the security of the network. This is just a common risk. So the control you need to apply the latest encryption methodology like ASA, ASL, secure socket layer, and also automate control on malicious attack detection mechanism like you usually need to apply the IDF, IPS, or you need to encrypt the data over the ASA or ASL to avoid one-time password compromise. Use another tool like Kerberos or uh, Dash login or VPN, something like that, to ensure that the package are fully encrypted. uh, so the next is a weakness on firewall rule. Sometimes the organization may not emphasize on the security hardening when they conducting the or when they deploying the firewall rule on the network infrastructure. So the IT security need to establish or need to come up with a great initiative to apply with the standard security appliance or security hardening to ensure that the firewall rule meet the standard requirement. So the risk can be the network security intrusion or business operation impact you to the outside attack or whatever involved with the system disruption or prolong of the system recovery, whatever involved with business interruption. So the control you need to apply strongly and securely of the firewall rule and encryption methodology to ensure that the AAA appliance are fulfilled and apply over the firewall rule. So this is an area that we need to focus, or you need to apply the penetration test for any vulnerability of the network segment. So you need to conduct a pen test to identify which is system flaw or loophole or vulnerability. So after you conduct the pen test, you may have the result what is a gap. So the IT security or IT security analyst will come up with a mitigation plan to mitigate this kind of risk. So the number 8 is a weakness on network infrastructure design. So this is involved with the network design or network architecture that the system network engineering need to understand what is the infrastructure come from, what is the existing requirement, what is the capacity of the network infrastructure. So the network can be scaled up or scaled down, or network infrastructure need to be scaled up or need to be integrated to other infrastructure, and to ensure that the network infrastructure include the fully redundancy structure to make the zero downtime uh, expectation. So the risk of the weakness implement network infrastructure may involve with the attack from the intruder or the system hacking cost to the business operation impact. So the control you need to update the network security baseline, both the physical and logical design. Firewall rule and control need to be in place. Regularly review our pen test and update the security baseline up on the technology innovation or latest update concern from the authorized vendor website. So this particular area you need to understand what is a risk come from and what is a control activity to mitigate the risk. So the number 9 is a poor router configuration. This is the most common lapses that the IT engineering did not emphasize on the security concern. So the risk of the router configuration, like a misconfiguration on the router or switching. So number 9 and number 10 are most similar. So the risk of the poor router configuration is a network security intrusion or impact on the business operation. So the control activity you need to restrict. You need to strictly on allowing route like such you need to apply the NAT or access control list on inbound and outbound access, or based on the policy and procedure you need to set up router configuration that allow only the AAA appliance, or you need to disable all unnecessary service and protocol that allow the intruder to sniff or spoofing the packet or traffic, so will affect to the core layer and also to impact the whole network infrastructure. So the number 10 and number 9 are just similar. So the number 11 is a default password or console or network not change. This is involved with the poor password management from the activity involved with the core network setup or core network maintenance activity. So the risk can easily log in to get harmful the network security. So can break or upshoot the network system. Also, the organization operation can be interruption in case of the insider attack or external attack can be exploited against access to the default setting of the password. So the control activity, you need to disable or harden all the default activity involved with the service, protocol, and password for any related matter. So you need to change regularly based on the password policy requirement, and you need to review, and you need to testing what is a strengthen of the network configuration on the password setup. So the number 12 is a weakness of password rule or no password policy and awareness. So this one just similar to the number 11, involved with the weakness of password rule. Sometimes they have the password rule, but the rule is not strengthened or not tightened. So this can be a vulnerability that let the attacker to exploit or to penetrate on the corporate network to be compromised on the critical system and also impact to the business operation. So the risk can be intruder easily attack on the whole network security system. Okay, can be destroy the sensitive data. So the control, you need to tighten the password rule, like you need to put at least the password length 8 character or more than 8 character to be strengthened with the complexity password requirement, and you need to change regularly, and you need to maintain the root account or root password activity with the record log and authorized by approving authority. This is just a control activity that involved with the weakness of password rule. So the next is all critical system and network device yet deployed into the centralized log management system. This is involved with the log management activity that the risk can be incurred in case of no tracking report on the network system login system or situation of UT was not in place that caused the high risk of network security breach or abuse to the critical system of data and also interruption of business operation. So the control, you need to identify or you need to clearly define the role and responsibility involved with the situation of UT. And also you need to have the maker and checker role to identify who is a particular responsibility on particular area that handled by the custodian. So when you manage the log, you need to mount all host device into the centralized log management system to track all activity from the host device and report to the IT security in case of suspicious such as unknown IP or unknown package, something like that. So the next is a misappropriation of change and configuration. This is involved with the insider attack or come from the IT sabotage, or we can uh, known as the disgruntled employee when they have the conflict from manager and officer. So when they have the internal conflict, so the officer can perform malicious activity to trigger on that intent to destroy the database on the certain that intent on the malicious coding and deploy into the production system after they leave the organization. So the risk can involve with the critical network system is now disrupt the business operation. The control activity, you need to well prepare the proper plan of the change, and you need to list privilege on the user right based on their function or based on their role. Up on the standard behavior like as need to know basis, need to have basis. This is a requirement of the list privilege activity can go through many related to team consultation and advice to ensure the contingency plan and rollback plan are in place to cover the failure chance or change like alter the configuration rule or something like that. So you need to prepare the proper plan and approve from the committee like the IT steering committee or from the senior management who is involved with the governance structure. and also engage the independent reviewer like the IT assurance or IT compliance to conduct the independent assessment and provide the right opinion on this particular area. So the next is no IP security protocol and device. This is involved with the data linkage and data transmission has been captured by hacker and intruder involved with the data load activity. So the control you need to apply with the IP6 service and protocol are involved at any higher layer of TCP and IP, and also involved with encryption and authentication tunnel and trunk are set with the secure method. And the at the IP security device, you need to install properly for any subsidiary or any branches. So the next is a no audit log and audit trail, and also involved with the system documentation. So the risk is no record of the audit or the log event or documentation on a network security management. So the control you need to create the audit log and audit trail to all critical systems that involve with the access and prioritize the log management to review by the authorized person to in line with the policy requirement, also the best practice. So the log should have the proper procedure to identify what is unnecessary behavior or unsuccessfully attempt login. So you need to track and you need put the standard threshold in case of the threshold met. So the system will automatically notify to the system admin or IT security officer in charge. So the next is a pull on DMZ implementation. This is involved with the external access on the mail server, on the web server, ATP server, or also involved with the voice over the IP server. So the control should be have the DMZ gateway monitoring. So you need to have the good solution to track all access from the external factor, especially with the inbound and outbound package. So the IT security officer need to conduct the pen test or risk assessment over this particular area to identify what is a gap from this area, and need to report to the incident need to report the incident record to the management to take the action up on the area of concern. So the next is use root account to remote over the internet without firewall set. This is most lapses that we gain the privilege to the root account or admin account that can remote uh, to the critical system over the internet without firewall rule set. So the risk can be intruder or hacker easily compromise into the network system. So the control you need to focus on firewall rule and standard security appliance, and also involved with the least privilege to authorize with the authenticate user, or you need to use the two-factor authentication like e-token, or like other device can split the chance of access, or you need to have the proper secure VPN protocol from side to side. So the next is a man in the middle attack over the vulnerable system or network. The risk can be denial of service, attack, or bypass the IP-based authentication, or network security compromise. So the control you need to put the packet filtering encryption and use the package filter to avoid the trust relationship, and use spoofing detection software like IDR or IPS, and use the final cryptographic network protocol. So the next is man in the middle of attack. So the risk can be the intruder can decode the message when the message was not fully encrypted, or the encryption protocol was not applied up on the root set. So the control you need to strengthen on the communication structure like encryption protocol, and also need to provide the awareness to the staff and to the engineer or officer in charge to ensure they are aware and understand what is a risk come from. So the next is a lab sets in root and super ID handling. So the risk can be lead to system compromise or data linkage, and also unauthorized access could not be mitigated. So the control you need to follow the root ID or super ID policy and procedure, and you need to comply strictly on the root and super ID process, and review all related critical system and network security device to ensure that the process are in place and comply strictly. So the next is a TCP and IP hijacking. So the risk can be data linkage and elimination conversation in between the sender and receiver. So this one can involve with the eavesdropping attack that fraudster can manipulate the data from the unsecure transmission packet. So the control you need to encrypt the protocol like IP6, ASA, or transport with the right tunnel or security secure tunnel to track all authentication that we assign with up on a AAA appliance. So the next involved with the no bandwidth management, involved with the access from the user. So the risk can involve with the uncontrollable on network bandwidth access, which cause to slow performance over the corporate network. So this is involved with the availability security framework like a CIA security framework. So you need to ensure the availability of the network performance are manageable and measurable. So the control you need to conduct the network segment like you have the VLAN or proxy management or content filtering to filter all access that can absurd or harmful with the malicious activity from the external attack vector. So the next is now establish the physical security control on the data center and all the disaster recovery side or alternative side. This is involved with the environmental and physical security environment like alarm system, smoke detection system, humidity detection system, or water linkage detection system, or robbery, chemical or gas CCTV, or armed guard, something like that. So the risk involved with the unauthorized access into the production system and also interrupt the business activity. So the control you need to check regularly on the access control. You need to review the log, who is access to the data center and the purpose of access, and review the record log from the access card system or from the biometric access system to ensure that the access with the right purpose, and also least privilege of the access into the critical area. So the next is a buffer flow related to the hardware lifecycle. Sometimes the programmer did not understand what is impact during the code compiling and parameterized setup. So the risk can involve with the network device stuck and hang due to the overuse from the client server involved with the service request, so can be interrupt the business operation activity. So the control you need to conduct security assessment on the network device performance, also the backup the device, also the set up the proper schedule to monitor what is a threshold requirement to trigger what is CPU usage, UPS, hard drive, memory, or other method that involve with the server performance or network performance activity. So the next is no bring your own device policy. This is a very important that most of the organizations are put many effort and a lot of investment to protect the data loss prevention, to ensure the CIA security framework are fully applied based on the requirement of a regulator. So the risk can involve with any attack to the network security or abuse to the sensitive data of the organization. So the control you need to establish the bring your own device policy uh, and in place and have the mechanism like a technology to support this function to control their own device like a smartphone, like a thumb drive, like a personal laptop that they bring into the office and connect to the corporate network and can bypass the network rule or proxy, can send to their cloud service or their email service, something like that, so the data can be leaked to the unauthorized person. So the risk can involve with the reputation risk or legality risk. So the next is a no proper service level agreement or non-disclosure agreement with the internet or connection service provider or supportive vendor. This is involved with the performance activity by vendor in case of we have the critical project need to be rolled out and we need to engage the vendor to provide the effectiveness of service delivery on a particular system or network activity. So the control you need to define a comprehensive SLA or non-DA agreement and need to sign off with the legality terminology from the legal perspective to ensure that they can provide the service effectively and meet to the expectation with the cost effectiveness method. So the next is a USB flash drive. This is involved with the plug and play device can bring the harmful activity to the system via the client access. For example, like a desktop or laptop, user can plug the USB thumb drive to compromise the system or can affect the malicious activity like virus, like malware, like spyware, something like that. So the spyware or malware can compromise into the other extended network or system, can steal the data or can the destruction of the data. So the control you need to come up with a clear security procedure, or you need to provide awareness properly to the end user to understand what is the risk come from when they are using a thumb drive. The next is a mobile device risk. This is involved with the bring their own device that the number 26 already mentioned. So I need to go to the misconfiguration of firewall rule basis uh, uh, base. Sorry. So the misconfiguration can be loose uh, authority or loose monitoring process when the engineering apply the new rule to the firewall or to the network device. So sometimes they not emphasize on the security location part of the configuration. Configuration can be harmful when the supervisor did not oversight, did not check on the final state completeness of the configuration rule. So the supervisor need to monitor, need to verify whether the configuration is proper or not. So the risk can be harmful or can be distract the service activity come from the network area. So the control you need to start with the security policy and you need to instruct or provide awareness in terms of security of concern. So the last one is a mispatching. So mispatching is very important that allow fraudster or strap to exploit into the vulnerable system or network can be compromised into the system, so that the data security the data sensitive the sensitive data cannot be protected. So the risk involved on this particular area can make the chance to the fraudster to compromise into the system when the server or network was not patched regularly. So the control, you need to come up with the patch management policy and procedure and update regularly on a respective operating system with both server and client. And also need to spot check what is a security appliance on the patch code or hotfix, and need to conduct the system security assessment or penetration test on the particular or concern. So thank you so much for watching my video on the common network security risk and control. Please like and share.